Hey y'all, Janae here. We are back. This is Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16 Reunion Part 3. It's over, y'all. It's over. It's done. I will give my thoughts at the end. Let's get into it. So we pick up where last week ended. Portia and Shamia are arguing, and she's like, why are we fighting? And Portia's like, because you're lying. And Shamia's like, well, don't you think you've been lying too? And I was like, okay, so y'all both pretty much admit to lying. Whatever. Anywho, so we find out the reason that Shamia's mom and Portia's mom are beefing because they were best friends long time ago. They both were in the daycare industry, and what happened was Diane, who is Portia's mom, had a daycare business, went into foreclosure. The space went into foreclosure, and Shamia's mom, I don't think they ever said her name, or if they did, I forgot. Shamia's mom saw that it was under foreclosure and went and bought the place. Shamia said that they had stopped talking. The moms had stopped talking way before that over some stuff that she doesn't even want to get into. And he's like, okay, fine, I won't get into it. Okay, so my thoughts is, if that's the case and that happened, like, let's say if they were cool and Shamia's mom did that, that's she could have gave her a warning, like, hey girl, yeah, or like if that's your friend, like been like, oh girl, you need some help here or whatever. But I'm more inclined to believe Shamia, because I feel like if me and my friend were in the same industry and their thing was about to go into foreclosure, I wouldn't go and take their spot. I would help them out. Again, I'm more inclined to believe Shamia, but at this point, just wrap it up, man. Just wrap it up. Shamia says she wishes she never spoke about Portia and her issues with Angela and Drew. Drew says she didn't bring it to Portia. Angela says she did, because, it seems like Shamia was crying out. Shamia wanted to talk to somebody about this. So it was all of that. And Shamia said, oh no, you brought it back wrong and all this stuff. But Portia brings up the fact that they're real friends in real life. The friends that are not, on the show, or we may have seen them like in the background somewhere, have even said that, Shamia felt like Portia didn't want her to have a peach. Portia says to Andy, did I not always want Shamia to have a peach? And Andy confirms that yes, this is the case. But if you remember, Kenya said on her YouTube channel that Portia had told Shamia, like, why can't this be my thing or whatever. I don't care. And then they get into then Shamia's comes to find out Shamia's not really over what Phaedra said to her or was saying to her about her messing with Candy and Todd. Like, she's saying, oh, Portia's like, you said we ruined your engagement. She said, no, you could have ruined my engagement and all that stuff. And then they're like, I kissed Candy in the club, you kissed Candy in the club. Kelly said, did she say they both kissed Candy in the club? Again, this is stuff that is, Shamia's been married, what, like 7-8 years now? So this is stuff like 9-10 years ago, and it's still being brought up, which again goes to the point that if you was feeling a type of way at the time, like, you should have brought it up instead of bringing it up 9 years later, and now it's an issue. If you felt some type of way about Portia not going to your wedding in Kenya, that should have been, like, you should either, have a conversation, dead it, move on, or have a conversation, dead it, and don't be friends with the girl no more. Like, don't just be like, oh, it's okay, sweep it under the rug, and then like, well, remember what you did in 1995? Like, come on now. And again, I'm not giving Portia any grace. It's just, that's just how I feel on the situation. That's what Andy was saying. Like, listen, if it upsets you at that point, then tell her at that point. Like, and again, I'm talking to myself too, because I also am a people pleaser. I also sweep things under the rug as well. So again, I'm learning that too. Can't just be sweeping things under the rug and then it's okay and then it's really not. So again, and Shamia's older than me, so I don't feel bad that she hasn't learned. I don't feel as bad that I haven't learned that lesson yet. This was not a good reunion for Shamia, and I'm going to get into a little bit more of that later. Let's go ahead and get into Drew. We get into Drew's segment. She said that her kids are now in therapy because, remember, in the season, her mother was saying that her kids have been acting out because Drew is making it seem like, her kids aren't really affected by the divorce or whatever's going on. And the mom was like, nah, them kids bad as So she was just saying, she has her kids in therapy and all that stuff. Ralph's still in the basement, child. And also, there was a moment, I think around Memorial Day weekend, Ralph had posted, him cooking, and he fed some meat, not that kind of meat, nasty, some meat to Drew. And she's like, that was supposed to be a private moment. It was just supposed to be us, trying to co-parent and all that stuff. But Ralph had to make it a moment. I don't like Ralph. I don't like Ralph. And apparently Ralph be having people in the basement because they live in a gated community. And if you live in a gated community, you have to give your ID. Like, you have to give your ID and all that stuff. And, like, what house you're going to and things like that. So she was able to see the log and, whatever. So... where am I? I'm sorry. Oh, apparently that lady that was at the house seeing Ralph approached her at her daughter's school. And also, Drew is seeing this guy, Black. His name is Black. Well, he has hookah pens called Black Smoke. They actually taste really good. I'm not a big hookah person, but here and there. I don't do it like that no more, but here and there. But my friend had got me one, and they're actually really, really good. They have no nicotine, no tobacco. It's Black Smoke, BLAKK Smoke. The guy is actually down here in Houston, so look him up if you're into hookah and all that stuff. But that's the person that Drew is allegedly seeing. His name is Black, and all that stuff. And she said, okay, that is a friend. But she goes and brings out hookah pens for everybody. Okay, random, whatever. I guess we didn't need it. Whatever. And here are the men. The men are here. We got Charles, who's, of course, Angela's husband, Charles Oakley. We have Dennis, who is Portia's baby daddy. And we have Ralph, who is Drew's estranged husband, who is sitting behind Cynthia and Phaedra. Anywho. And Shamia's husband is missing. Again, it's not really his thing. Shamia has said that it's really not his thing. And she's like, he's not here. He's with, they was like, where's Gerald? He's like home with his kids. But he sent me some beautiful flowers. And Portia just rolled her eyes the whole time. Like, I was like, damn. And I mean, in that sense, I get it. Like, you don't have to be involved like with the show and all that stuff, but at least show up for your wife. That's my stance on it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be involved in the drama or what have you, but again, show up for your wife. That's just me. Again, this whole Portia or Dennis talking to Drew or Drew trying to talk to Dennis is stupid. I don't care. I don't care. So let's move on. It's pretty much Portia misinterpreted the text that Drew allegedly said. I don't care. We're going to move on. They asked Charles if he likes his wife, because, Angela was like, okay, me a kiss and all that stuff. Charles is like, I'm not putting on for the cameras. Valid, sir. Valid, sir. He's not a big fan of the PDA and all that stuff. Again, valid, sir. That's them people's relationship. So, that's them. He said some of the ladies say they met him, but he hasn't met he hasn't met any of them. He said, for instance, Shamia, he's like, apparently Shamia said that she met Charles at Dominique. They were talking about Dominique Wilkins, basketball player, Dominique Wilkins' wedding, and he was like, I was there, but we ain't meet. But there's a picture of Gerald and him. Whatever. And then he's like, and Phaedra, like, and then she asked Phaedra, they asked Phaedra, like, what was the thing about her knowing Charles, and Phaedra got the stuttering, like, which some people think that, you know, Phaedra was saving Charles, some, like, in terms of if he was really doing stuff, I don't know. And other people was just like, yeah, Phaedra may have been in the same room with him, but it is what it is. And he said that's not meeting me. He said all this talk about me, where y'all husbands at? Shamia said, my husband's at home. And Charles said, Google me. Oh, he said, this was funny. He said, Google me. He'll tell you I've been married 10 years. Angela said, it ain't been 10. And he's like, well, hell, I don't know. I know I'm married. I was like, Charles is such an old man. I love it. I love it. He is such an old man. Apparently him and Sheree dated around the 2005, 6, 7 era. So like 20 years ago. Yeah, so again, who cares? Who cares if they dated 20 years ago? I don't. Did they date yesterday? Did they date when he was with Angela? No, don't care. And then before the men left, Kelly asked Ralph, because Ralph had said something about, he spoke to Kelly's ex-husband. She's like, well, what did he say? And he was just like, you know, he was just talking about the divorce and all that stuff. And Kelly said to Drew, that Ralph is a stand-up guy because he wants to take care of his kids, even with what y'all going through. I don't have that, which, again, I feel for Kelly, but at the same time, like, I feel for Kelly. Don't get me wrong. I feel for Kelly, but I don't think Ralph deserves a pat on the back. Those are his kids. Those are his kids. Again, my opinion. Yeah, those are his kids. So, you know, it should be whatever, despite the situation with your mother, despite the relationship with the mother of your children, your kids come first, period, point blank. Again, it sucks that Kelly does not have that, and now she has to raise her daughters by herself, which sucks, which makes me, I'm like, damn. Even if the divorce was crazy, like, was he really, like, in it for, you know what I mean? It's just, because at the end of the day, your kids suffer. So, that's all I have to say about that. That's all I have to say about that. All right, so it's everybody's wrap up. Drew and Portia are back in a good place, which is good. Kelly said she's going to pick and choose who she is a good friend to. She is hopeful for Shamia and Portia. Phaedra was only there for 2 weeks of filming, but she said it was fun. Yay. Cynthia was a good friend to the show. I do agree. She was a good friend to the show. Angela's grateful for the platform, especially since, you know, she was able to film with her mother, and, you know, she could always look back and see her mother in the episodes. Again, very sorry for Angela's loss and her mother, and Portia's loss with Londi. Terribly sorry. And Shamia is learning to be more open, and Portia said it was a transformative season with all that they have gone through. And let's get into what Shamia had to say. I didn't take no notes on this. Shamia pretty much did on her YouTube channel a Dear Sweet 16, where she pretty much apologized to everybody. She said, if I felt, you know, if I hurt anybody's feelings during the season and all that stuff. It was interesting. I'll say that. It was interesting. Like, during the whole, it was a little dramatic. I ain't gonna hold you. But, you know, I felt her pain. I felt, you know, she was being genuine. Her mother came to pray for her. Like, her mother came like while she was doing there to pray, and somebody else, I don't know if it's her auntie or what, they were praying and all that stuff. Again, I feel, I'm hoping that they're not playing, because I don't play with God. So, I hope they wasn't, just trying to do it for attention or clout. I don't know. I'm hoping that's not the case. I don't think it is, because it does seem like Shamea has a really strong village behind her. So, I'm going to go with that. She was pretty much apologizing and just, she hates that, her and Portia are at this state in their friendship. But, I say to that, it could be that they've just outgrown each other, Unfortunately, that happens in friendships, relationships, and all that stuff. They just outgrown each other. Portia seems like she needs to be, like, in control of the friendship. Again, this is my opinion. Wants to be in control of the friendship. And Shamea, as far as being, like, a lapdog, she kind of played it for a little bit, but then she got tired of it, and especially if it wasn't reciprocated. I'm not going to go here again, despite what happened at the reunion, because Shamea didn't have a good reunion at all. She did not. But despite what happened at the reunion and how Portia overpowered her and all that stuff at the reunion, we're not going to sit here and act like Portia has been a great friend, because she hasn't. She's been shady too. She's been shady in terms of, like, saying, oh, that's not you, that's Drew, and probably little things that we don't even know about. So again, the friendship could have just ran its course. And you know what? That's okay. But that's a wrap on season 16 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. It was a good season. It was a good season. Yeah, it was a good season. What did y'all think of the season? I thought it was a decent comeback season after being gone for a little bit. I thought it was a decent comeback season. I know people are going to have their thoughts and all that stuff. Season 17 is going to be filming soon. Who do we think is coming back? I meant to say Shamea. I think Shamea should come back. The way that her apology was, it was kind of like she was saying goodbye. Again, I could be just overthinking this, but I think Shamea should come back. Dust yourself off, try again, because I like Shamea. Like, I liked her personality. Like, she's goofy, she's fun. Like, I like Shamea. Just be yourself. And if y'all come back, I just move forward. If y'all not gonna be friends, y'all not gonna be friends. Just in terms of her and Portia, just move forward and just leave it at that. Again, what did y'all think of the season? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see y'all on the next video. Love After Lockup is back on Friday, y'all. Later.